Just going to go ahead. It is 2:02.
Are you official yet?
Not yet. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to do a quick roll call. Myself, Lauren Efren, Nicole Olson, Dina Palizzo. In our audience, we have Jeff Galdenzi, not officially confirmed yet, but soon to be member of our committee. Online, we have Peggy Natalizzo. Those are the official members of our committee. That's enough for quorum. Thank you very much. And then joining us at the table, we have Mark Schweitzer from Colliers. And also online, I see Eli Gazal, who I actually just saw walking outside, and Sal Morbido from FPS. Oh, and John Purcell, also another committee member joining us. If we could all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you. All right, let's get to business. First item, we have number 4, to hear, consider, and approve the additional remaining meeting dates for 2026. It was provided in the backup, which you all should have received last Friday. I brought an extra copy here if anybody needs to see. It's just these remaining dates. It's every Tuesday. Mark was very kind to go ahead and gather those all for us. I do just want to point out that we have a meeting on 4th of July. I know that's a vacation day for some, so that may be a TBD at a later date. Let's see where we are in the process.
Right, we have one, what do you mean, like the week of?
On the actual 4th of July.
4th of July is on a Saturday.
How is that on?
14th of July.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Which is my birthday, so.
Apologies, strike that from the record. Do not have one on the 4th of July. I was looking through because my daughter is going on this ASP trip, this high school thing a lot of teenagers do around here in Fairfield. They go and build houses with Habitat for Humanity and do repairs, and that is over the 4th of July, so I apologize.
Oh, with Greenfield Hill?
Yes, exactly. Okay, I don't know where I came up with that. 14th, you're right. But wait, July 7th. In my head. 4 and 7, I don't know why. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and quickly read them out. Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. These are the ones that we have not automatically approved before. So upcoming July 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th. Then August 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. September 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. October 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th. November 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th. December 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. That takes us through the rest of 2026. If I could have a motion to approve these dates for our remaining meetings.
Motion to approve dates.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Dina. All in favor, please raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I have a comment.
Yes, Peggy.
Is it possible to get the summer ones earlier in the day, like 9 o'clock? I mean, I know for school parents, school is out. So.
I hear you, Peggy. I think part of the complication that arises with that is that we had already agreed with Colliers to a 2 p.m. Meeting time because they have pre-existing meeting with another client earlier in the day. So we had bumped it from 1 to 2. I guess I could, we could consider it, but we would have to change those dates. I would rather approve them now at the standing time. Also, it is listed what our meeting times are, I believe, in the RFQ for the architects, right? Not yet.
No.
Okay, I don't want to be inflexible. Yes, Nicole.
Yeah, I would say why don't we just approve these now and then put a note in to maybe find different times that could work. But for parents with kids who are home, 9 a.m. won't work during the summer.
No,
Like 10 a.m. could work. I think that's better for people with kids because the camps are usually starting at 9 or 9:15.
yeah. I mean, it's all going to be a little tricky over the summer. I got to be honest with you. I've got 3 kids in 3 different age ranges from elementary to high school, and there's no consistency. So,
But I think earlier in the day would be nicer.
It
for
would
the
be
summer
nicer.
only.
It would be
But we
nicer.
have to see what they're
But we have to
available.
see what the availability is for Colliers. Peggy, would you be okay if we moved ahead with this and then saw if there could be some flexibility?
Sure. You know, I mean, I'm thinking about parents who might want to take their kids to the beach during the summer. You know, 2
Well,
o'clock.
that sounds lovely to me. I'd love to arrive, here with a tan on one of those days. Who knows?
My
Okay.
kid eats sand,
So just back to the vote, if I could, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so the vote carries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, just for Jan for the record. Okay, that takes care of that. Going back to, thank you, Dina. Our agenda number 5, to hear, consider, and approve a standard questionnaire for references of architectural and engineering services bid submissions. Because we had to cancel our meeting last week, but some of us were here to go ahead and not waste the time. Though it wasn't considered an official meeting, we did discuss with Mark and Nicole and myself, and Chuck, thank you.
And Sal.
And Sal was there as well. Questions that we would like to ask the architects and engineer references, not the architect and engineer firms themselves, but once they submit to the RFQ, they'll be giving us references. And again, we know that there could potentially be a high volume of bid submissions. And in order just best to handle this as a group, as a committee, we'd like to divide this up and have, depending on how many submissions we get, have each committee member at least try to knock out 2 by calling those references with these questions and then reporting back to the group. So if you'll refer to the backup, the item titled Dwight School Building Committee, Architectural and Engineering Services RFQ Procedures, submitted by Nicole, who was kind enough to type this up for us, myself, and again, we worked with Mark on this. We need to vote on this, and I'm just gonna go through the questions, and if you guys have any concerns you wanna comment, we could, of course, change it here at the table, and then proceed, and we'll resubmit it to the town as official once we've made those changes. I'll go ahead and start with question number 1. What was your role on the project? How much interaction did you have with the design team during the design process? How much during the construction and closeout phase? It was a 3-part question. Nicole, maybe you can help me. The thinking behind this, or Mark, was that we want to know what that reference's actual role was. Are they a superintendent? Are they a principal? Were they a board member from the building committee? Or are they a mayor or official from the town? I think those are all very important questions just to establish how they understood this process and how involved almost were they.
This is to weed out anyone giving off their friend's reference. They were on a job, they were at the job site 3 times throughout the whole process, but somehow they ended up being a reference. We want to make sure that this is somebody who had extensive knowledge of what was going on.
Does everyone understand that question, that first question? Any comments or concerns? Okay, I'm going to move on to question 2. Do you recall any of the major subs, and do you have any strong feelings on them, and why? We felt that this was a particularly good question, and by the way, we winnowed this down from, Mark had given us, I think, like 18, and we kind of decided some of these were better.
The references were only 6 or 7, but then we whittled them down to here.
Yeah.
The 4 or 5 that we had.
Yeah.
But
The subs, I think, was a really good one because we understand that it's not always possible to have people or the company itself on site, like a CM, right? Sorry, guys, I'm not the construction person.
Well, the subs are important just because they are part of the design team, and they do affect the work throughout. So if it's, and typically with subs, if the owner or whoever the reference is knows them, it's usually not because they're doing outstanding work, because if it's outstanding work, it's normally the design, the architect that has done that. But it's just and you're getting references for the whole team,
Right.
not just the architect.
Yeah.
Can you reread the question?
Sure. Do you recall any of the major subs, and do you have any strong feelings on them, and why? I think the thought there in that wording was there any issues? Was there any problems?
It's
So-
positive or negative.
So my thing was, when we said this, I said I love the way it was worded, because normally when somebody remembers especially somebody on the board, it's rare a year later you're going to remember the subs on the site. If you remember them, why? Because it's either you really like them or you really hated them. And since subs tend to bid packages with their architect, chances are you're getting similar subs that would be working with. So if you call the references, let's say you get Spigalsk, and you get, I don't know how many references on average do they offer up, typically 3?
3 to 5, yeah.
You call all 3 references, and they're like, yeah, we love the design, we love this, we love that. But every single reference was like, this sub was terrible, that sub was terrible, this sub was terrible. Like, that's a kind of a red flag that we need to be aware of in advance. So we thought that's why it was good to say why. But if you get all 3 of them being like, they were great, they worked awesome, and the rest are probably gonna be like, I have no idea. But it's good to find out why they have a memory of a sub. Why is it sticking in their head to call out someone?
Yeah, and if
Do you
they're,
want to expand that to, be like, was this a one-time relationship with this, a one-time working with this sub, or is there an ongoing relationship with this sub?
Well, these are questions for the references only. We'll be
Yeah.
able to ask those questions to the architects once we shortlist. So if we do get a lot of negative, but
I'm saying the reference may have multiple experiences with that sub.
maybe. Okay, we can.
that's a good thought.
I think it's more just when you're on the phone with them, we can add that in as like a sub thought afterwards. Like, if they gave a very negative, like, how many times have you worked with them?
But is this something, because we want it, what we're going for is consistency,
Yes.
that we all ask the same questions
Yeah.
to each of the references, so that when we come back to the table, we can be like, and look, and there may be,
Yeah.
obviously, 2 people are having a conversation, you may go off on lots of divergent paths, which is fine. I would like to hear about those too, but that's a good follow-up
Something in
question.
terms of, is this a sub you've worked with before? Because, it may be the person they were working with as opposed to the sub
Do you
itself.
recall any of the major subs, or do you have any strong feelings on them, and why? Have you worked with the subs on multiple projects? So we'll just tack that on right at the end. I think that's great. I like
Okay,
that.
Before
I
or
have a
since? Can we say
question.
before or since?
Well, you're just
Or
at.
multiple projects?
Yeah, just that's multiple.
Yes, Peggy?
Okay, when you talk about subs, you have to realize that this is for an architectural engineering services and MEP services. If they hire somebody as their sub, it may be a site engineer or somebody who does the surveying or somebody who does the soil testing. When you have to be specific, you don't want to hear about contractor subs. You don't want to hear like, so-and-so mechanical did a lousy job on the ductwork. That is not the phase that we're in right now.
Well,
I don't care.
It's sub-consultants.
It's sub-consultants, yeah.
Consultant.
Yeah,
So
we
you
did
have
go
to-
over this in the meeting.
Do you want to
Yeah.
add, Peggy, would it make you feel more comfortable if we added sub-consultants? So that they knew that it was specific to this phase?
Right, you're only talking about the architectural and engineering group. You're not talking about contractors at this point.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, wait, 10-second
But
timeout,
since-
because
Since they are the reference for the architectural and engineering group, I would think
Yeah.
that they would know that that's what we're referring to, subs for the A&E, not for CM.
Okay, when you talk, see, I think it's in more of a language thing. When you talk about subcontractors, that technically pertains to construction. When you're talking about architectural and engineering services, you're talking about a team. Okay, they bring in a team, and part of their team may be, you know, so-and-so survey. Okay,
Yeah,
you can ask about those surveyors, but like I said, you don't care about the mason. You don't care at this point, you know, about the electrician, about the HVAC guy. So
Yeah.
I think the word subs is not.
it's not appropriate. What would you
Right.
replace it with, Peggy?
I think it's part of a team. Okay.
you recall any of the consultants?
How do you feel about consultants? Do you recall any of the consultants?
Oh, you could do that.
Okay, there we go. I'm
Okay,
changing.
so we're gonna
it all.
strike subs and we're gonna
Yep.
add in consultants.
Do you recall any of the consultants, and do you have any strong feelings on them, and why? Have you worked with the consultants on multiple projects? Would it, I mean, I know that this is probably a little late in the game, but I'm guessing chances are they're going to give us references of school buildings typically, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just curious.
I would hope so.
Okay.
And we can make
That's what I'm wondering.
Well,
Okay.
we're requesting that, and that's
Okay.
one of the things they're going to be graded out on too. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's-
references are supposed to be specific
To the
to
jobs. Okay. Thank you.
similar type of construction.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read it back, or can I have you read it out loud one more time? This is question number 2. This is the revision that we'll be voting on at the end. Go ahead, Nicole.
Do you recall any of the consultants, and do you have any strong feelings on them, and why? Have you worked with the consultants on multiple projects?
I like the wording. Anybody in disagreement? Does anybody want to change that?
Works for me.
Works. Okay. I'm going to move on to question number 3. When there were issues, how were they to work through those moments? Did you find they took charge and helped resolve, or left it up to others to correct the course? And again, just to give a little color on the background on this question, the assumption is that there will be issues and problems, as with any project. How did they handle it in those moments? From the references, point of view, did the architect and engineering firm help them, help sort of like cross the muddy waters? Or did they abandon ship or pivot and throw someone else under the bus? Were they basically helping, with a conflict resolution, or making it worse? I hate to say it like that, but any of those possibilities, or it could be, obviously the best response that we could hope for is, yeah, there was problems that came up, but I'm so glad that we had them with us because they were able to pivot and see a solution, through A, B, or C, and get the construction manager on board with whatever that decision was. I mean, you would hope that, but problems do happen. So I think it's a good question. But does anybody have anything they would like to change, or do you want to understand it better? I'll put it out to the group. No? Okay. Last question. Would you work with them again? Sweet and simple.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. So I think the only one that we had, a revision on was question number 2. But in the interest of moving things along, because that's what we are charged with doing by the town, and we'd like to keep this rolling, and we'd also like to be prepared, obviously, when the bids come in, that we can start, honestly, as soon as those references hit, I would like us to start thinking about how we're going to divide these up and And if you want to go ahead and call your references, as soon as I saw the ones for the PMO, I got right on the phone that day and started calling. So I think this is a helpful thing to have. I didn't have a list of questions then, but I'm appreciative of the time and effort that Mark put into this, and Nicole, thank you so much for your input. So if we could all go ahead and consider these questions for the A&E references, I'd like to have someone motion, please.
I motion to approve.
Thank you, Dina, and a second.
My second.
Nicole, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
We got to go back and forth, exactly.
Any abstentions? Okay, another 5-0-0 vote. Thank you so much. We'll make sure that the revision is listed and posted by the town clerk.
It's already in your email with the revised. Good.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Okay, and I'm gonna keep us ticking right along. Number 6, to hear an update on the RFQ status.
The RFQ was posted to the town website on Thursday, the 8th. It is up and operational, and there are a couple inquiries that came in. The virtual pre-bid is scheduled for Friday at 10:30. Link is on the website for everyone to, that is provided. Questions we're going to have as part of the walkthrough, we'll encourage them to walk the site either on the weekends or on Martin Luther King Day, on the day off. We have questions due on next Tuesday, the 20th, and those will go through Bonfire, or the cutoff for the questions is the 20th on Bonfire. The responses, the cutoff is also on Bonfire, is that Thursday. Questions are cut off at 1 o'clock next week, so we can take a look at them at this meeting next week. So we are on track for that. Qualifications are due on the 29th, so 2 weeks. They'll be due. We have about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks to shortlist. So we're looking to shortlist on the 10th of February, and then we'll give notice to at the minimum of 3 firms, and we'll bring them back on the March 3rd for presentations and Q&As.
Just a note about March 3rd, I was notified by the town that this room isn't available for that full day. We'll have to go to the second floor conference room, which is also outfitted with Zoom, I believe, so we should be able to still have it recorded.
Well, I don't think we covered this. We want them in person. Do we not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a good friendly reminder that everybody pretty much needs to take a day off and be here for the entirety of March 3rd.
Yes, full
In
day.
person, if at all humanly possible.
Yeah.
I know some people that's impossible, and that's okay, but full day, March 3rd.
Thank you.
Santa's here.
Okay. Thank you for that timeline and an update. I do just have one question. When we were talking about the 29th, that's when
Qualifications.
the qualifications are due. If I could just think outside the box for a moment, is that when we're officially starting to call references, or can we do that beforehand? When we say qualifications are due, that it's
We will know, well, they have till.
how much time do we have to call everyone?
I believe they're due at 2 on the
Okay.
29th, so
And then we meet on the 3rd.
we meet on the 3rd, but we're not shortlisted to the week after.
True.
So you
I
have
see
that
what you're
whole week
saying.
afterwards. That's why we set it up that way.
Wait a second, so the dates that we have to make the calls are what dates?
Yeah.
Oh, you have the rest of the day on the 29th to basically February 9th, February 10th.
But they could submit before the 29th.
They could.
That's the ideal scenario. So that's why I was saying as soon as they hit, I'd like us to be able to do it. But I just want to, in my mind, know that they could be submitting things up until the 29th.
Yeah.
I see
So
what
if we
that
get
is my question is.
Some late submittals. I don't know.
More than likely, they're all going to spend on it.
They're gonna wait until the 29th?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we really only have,
unless someone's going away and.
Until the 2nd.
Yeah.
It's like when your tax guy for some reason waits until that actual deadline to submit everything. You're like, why didn't you just do it months before? It's like they don't do it.
So for us, I'm gonna try to communicate to everybody. And normally I would send out, right, the agenda, backup items, everything, the Friday before anyway. So by the 30th, the following day, I'll give everyone their assignments. Like, you call these two.
We're still in February?
We're still in January.
Oh, okay, January 30, got it.
So January 30th, just maybe mark your calendars. I will contact you with, obviously, our agenda items for the following week and all of that, but going back to what we just voted on, the 4 questions, this is what you'll be asked to do. Call the references for at least, depending on how many we get, for at least 2, possibly 3, of each of the architect and engineering firms, so that we can winnow down on the 3rd. Or, sorry, 10th, thank you. But it will help us leading into the 3rd, which is when we have everybody coming in. So we'll have a little bit of background. I'm wondering, do we almost schedule like a pre-meeting so that we can share what we've learned with each other? And obviously it would have to be a special meeting.
Yeah.
The pre-meeting would.
So there would be no votes, it would just be like an open discussion.
I don't
But that would,
think it falls
have
under.
to be special session because we wouldn't want it to be public.
That's true. Yeah,
We would have to check with the town attorney. There are rules for executive session where it's not recorded and it's not public.
and it has to be specifically about something like safety and security
Well,
or.
contracts is one of them. So, but
Okay.
I don't know if discussion of
I think you're right.
qualifications are.
We should check with the town attorney and make sure we're in compliance with our.
I was gonna say, chances are it should be executive session at that moment because it's recorded and going public for anyone to see. So if you have your own special opinions, that would be the time to air it, and the town would not want us using negative words around a corporation and having it
We did
recorded
have-
for all to
We
watch
did have
something.
an executive session regarding
The
PMO.
PM, yeah.
So I think
So,
we should be allowed, and I do believe that Adam asked.
yes, and I think that that's the same thing, yeah. We
But let's double
sidebarred
check.
when we talked about you guys, because we said we do not want that recorded, our exact actual feelings, whether good or bad.
Okay.
Considering
So, okay, so just,
It'll come out over.
we prefer to say it to your face.
could we come back to this? I mean, we're
Yeah.
already halfway through January. It's not like this is that far away, but knowing that the 29th is when everything is like do from all the potential bidders, we're gonna have to make a lot of calls on the 30th, which is why I wanted to divide this up. And then I think we could consider doing a special meeting. I'm sorry to do it. But on the 2nd, which is Monday, February 2nd. And we would try to keep it brief, but this would be our time to let the committee know what the reference is, what their responses were. And I do think it's worth having that before we meet anybody in person.
Just so you know, February 2nd is Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, but there's still school and
There's
everything.
still school.
Don't count anymore.
Exactly.
But there is no school for our Tuesday meeting, that is the special
We may
election.
just have to get the Punxsutawney Phil update.
Do you want me to
Okay.
just come in with a groundhog on a leash?
Oh, I love it. I love it, yes.
How about I just, first of all, I need to make sure that I can book meeting space. And then what time it's available. I hate to say that I can't ask all of us what time works for us because it's really gonna come down to when the meeting space is available and then go from there. But in terms of scheduling, I can send an email to all of you. Please do not reply all to it. You just reply directly to me and say, yes, this works, or no, that doesn't work for whatever reason. Again, this is just regarding the potential special meeting on Monday, February 2nd to review the references for the potential bidders. All right, let's.
While we're still on this topic, can I ask Mark one question? How many people have inquired thus far, do we know?
I believe Adam said there was 4 to 5.
already.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
It is. That is good. I think it's good to know, and then we can decide. I'm just wondering if we all end up with a multiple references, if we maybe then present, we'll have to go over all of them. But if the person who did it is like, if I talked to both, and this was the shining star, or it was very close. That way we can kind of, if there's a clear winner in their eyes, we have to trust each other, and to make it a quick.
Yeah.
Just say, this is the one I'm putting forward, maybe, unless it's a very tough, close call, and then we can go over them. And that'll
Well,
shortlist
the other
it right
thing
there.
is I think we should go in neutral, like everybody goes
Sure.
in neutral, present it to the group, as very neutral, and then we could decide as a group.
Yeah. Jeff, you said by the 20th I'm sorry, I'm talking to Jeff Galdenzi off camera here.
PRTM meets on the 20th of the month.
Okay, and so we should have you on board by this.
There's a consent, yeah,
If there's a
it's
consent.
unanimous, otherwise it's on the following.
Yeah, 27.
Okay. Your input would be very valuable here. So, okay, I don't know, Chuck, if this is a good time for us to discuss. I could wait till the end, but we did potentially talk about. He has an inquiry from a company that has built several schools outside of the state of Connecticut. I believe they are licensed here in Connecticut. They've just never done a project here. So the question is, are we willing to accept submittals from out-of-state companies? And I think,
Are they willing to make themselves available on a weekly basis in person at our meetings? Because we did put on the RFQ that is mandatory, that they have to be in person, so.
Yeah, if I could, Chuck Warrington for Colliers. The firm that inquired about, they're going to be submitting a formal question, by the way, through Bonfire, just for record. But they have offices in West Hartford. They're located here in Connecticut, so they have local personnel for that. But then they also have folks. I think they're in Baltimore. That would be a question that we would have to confirm. Because they're managing from Baltimore. We would not recommend that. It's just too far. That aside, we have criteria that, ideally they have experience with Connecticut schools and OGA experience. Now, that's not a statutory requirement. That's certainly up to your committee, whether you enforce that or not. But they're requiring just because putting together qualification packages and such are it's a timely effort. There's a lot of effort involved, and if they're saying that, listen, if you're not going to accept it at all, they would just forego it and not submit. So they're just inquiring about that. You can talk to Adam. You don't have to necessarily answer it fully. You can say, hey, it's up to you whether you submit it. We'll determine it later. But just wanted to pass that along since they asked it.
I appreciate
I
that.
have a question.
Yes, Dina.
So, Chuck, do we know where have they done schools in New England, or do they normally develop in the Mid-Atlantic or Florida, or?
Yeah, based on my experience, so they submitted on a project prior down in Stamford for the Westall High School. So I'm familiar with the portfolio they submitted for that one. Most of those were in that Mid-Atlantic, Maryland area. Very large projects, huge. I mean, humongous projects. So I mean, the size of the project and scale of it's not a problem for them, but it's mostly in the Mid-Atlantic, from what I recall in that package a couple of years ago.
And are they heavy on the education end in there?
Yeah, it's all education. I don't know if how much of their work is educationally based. Is it 75% of their workload? I can't speak to that.
But they've done public school buildings.
Correct. They have done public school buildings based upon their previous qualifications.
Chuck, have you worked with them before on something? Has Colliers worked with them before?
We're working with that firm on a community center in West Hartford right now. That's the only project we're working with. So I honestly don't have any real direct input as far as performance at this time. It's to be determined. We're still in design. We're not in construction. So I can't really speak to the level of their documents, errors and omissions, et cetera. For that, we've been given good recommendations from some other sub-consultants that we've worked with, but nothing firsthand.
I'm not opposed, as long as they're licensed in Connecticut, can come to meetings, at least, I don't know, maybe once a month, but I prefer.
They're gonna be held to the same standard we're holding every other one to. They're gonna come once a week and show up.
Okay, if they want this.
AIS.
That'd be the
If they want it, then they
requirement.
gotta come after it.
Okay, fair enough. If they have an office in West Hartford, I'm sure they could,
They're asking to break into this sector, then they're gonna wanna show up more than we should ask if that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to find somebody to give them the opportunity in Connecticut.
Dispensation.
okay.
No, if anything,
Fair enough.
they should be lulling us to sleep at night, hoping that we get through this so that they can break their way into the Connecticut educational field. That's what they're trying to do. We're giving them an opportunity, not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so I think there's your answer. We would consider it as long as they were willing to come meet on a weekly basis and as long as they're obviously licensed in Connecticut. And then
They've got to meet the RFQ
they
requirements.
have to meet the requirements, they have to
Exactly.
pass the interview process, they have to go,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that would
Yeah.
have to make it okay, but I think the answer is we would not consider that, right?
I think they should be allowed to participate
hat
just
in the
as
ring.
much as anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's a
And-
waivable requirement if they have the requisite experience in school designs,
Yeah.
basically, so, okay.
Okay,
And the bodies on the ground in the state of Connecticut that would be required on a job of this scale.
Yeah.
That's all.
okay, well,
We'll
good.
respond accordingly, Mark, on that one, when the question comes through. Yep.
I'm glad you asked, thank you, that's a,
Hey,
an interesting
I'm
one.
more the merrier.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have any other questions on the RFQ status at this time? I think we've kind of covered it all. We'll circle back about that, February 2nd, once I know location, and time. Okay, I'm gonna move for now to item number 7, to hear, consider, and discuss the budget process development for the Dwight School Building Committee. The reason why this is on the agenda is because I think it would be helpful for all of us as a committee to understand the money part, how the budget works. I myself am not a spreadsheet kind of gal, but I can certainly understand it when someone walks me through it. I've already been fielding some questions by the town about how the accounts are set up. I know, some people love spreadsheets. I'm getting there, guys, I'm getting there.
So excited.
My brain just does not work that way automatically, but I can, if someone holds my hand, I can be guided through it. So this is really for all of us to understand how that spreadsheet looks and who comes up with the criteria for, I can't even think of an example right now, but I know that we're not to that point yet. Right now, we have a PMO who we have hired and we are paying, and we have a recording secretary. Those are our 2 major expenses at this time. There will be more, much more. So,
I
Mark?
heard,
Well-
what percentage is held aside for lunch?
Okay, so Mark, if you
Yep.
wouldn't mind just walking us
Yep.
through it, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna
Have
get
it
my
up on the
glasses.
screen?
Oh, thank goodness, it's large scale this time.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, the criteria is pretty well established from ed specs and the enrollment projections and all that. So basically, walking through the budget. The budget is based on the projection, number of students in the building, and the gross square footage from, and this, so we have 264 is the max 8-year projected enrollment for K through 5.
can I just ask, are you pulling this from the Spiegel's report?
This is
Straight
through,
from the educational specification.
Oh, the ed spec, thank you.
Ed spec's gonna drive, first of all, the budget's established already, you've already passed, just to kind of set the tone here. The budget's already established, you already passed funding. So all we're doing is providing a recommended breakdown of the budget that we will manage to with you through the project.
I appreciate it, thank you. And I was there for all the meetings when the ed specs were discussed, so, and I know they were approved, I just wanted to know where those numbers were specifically being pulled from, and I apologize if you had already said it. And I apologize for also breaking your flow.
No
I'll try
problem.
not to do it again.
And
Ask questions, okay.
I also have a habit of using acronyms and shortcuts as well. So
That's okay.
if you don't understand anything like GCF, or, gross square foot versus, saying gross square foot, call me out on it, please.
Thank you.
So new construction, it's all new construction, and this is based on the Segal's report. This is escalated for, in the report is the square footage, is the net square footage we add for corridors and outside, exterior walls. So this goes up to, I believe in the report it's,
You click on that cell, Mark?
yeah. We use a 5% increase for exterior walls. So that's what we have to work with right now. Once we get the architect on board and we get their designs, that they've got a design to the bottom construction number, but I'm also jumping ahead. This is how we establish the budget.
This is how you establish the budget.
Correct.
I appreciate it. And
Yeah,
again,
so
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
many questions about this, but I'll let you get through it one time before I start.
Well, I may interrupt with a couple of questions.
All right. So, based on a new school in Madison, Connecticut, bids, and these are bid numbers. It came in at about 410. And that was early part of 2024. So we escalated it the 2 years up to basically $450. And just to understand this Excel spreadsheet, the blues are inputs, the blacks are calculated for you. So all these numbers here are calculated on everything below.
Can you go to that 505 for a second?
Yep.
So that escalates it to the midpoint of construction.
Got it. Yep, that's what I wanted to make sure. Thanks.
So it's
Yeah,
four.
we can share this spreadsheet with you, for those that love that spreadsheets, we can, this is your budget, we'll share it with you, so you can see how it works.
What did how did you figure out that escalation?
That's the midpoint of construction.
Yeah, but what's the percentage that you went up?
4.5% compounded.
Compounded, okay.
Chuck and Mark, I apologize in advance. I did not ask for this as a backup item. I knew we were going to be discussing and reviewing it. I do think it will be helpful, both for the committee members and for the public, to have this on our website. So if we could submit it to the town once we've discussed it. I want it to be out there for public consumption as well.
We're seeing 4 to 5% escalation from our professional cost estimators right now, so we're splitting that difference with 4.5%.
Got it.
Okay. Sorry, Mark.
Yep. So new construction is based on the square footage plus the dollar per square foot amount.
And that's in million.
That's in thousands, yes.
Thousands,
So
yeah.
it would be 38 million.
Yep. Got it. Just making sure.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is just
You may want to.
just building footprint itself.
Yeah, so just so you know, so there's nothing that says that when you get to that number, that's in thousands, the stuff above it is not.
Okay.
So we might want to clarify that.
I am sure that people are going to have lots of questions about this, so if we can make it as clear as possible for the average Joe like me to understand. I think it would be really helpful. I am kind of curious, real quick, that 85,000 from you said that's from the ed spec or from Spiegel's? Because from the ed spec, I only have 56.
Well,
A total square footage, gross square footage of 56,115 that the Board of Ed approved. Now, I know that Spiegel's was very different. For instance, they inflated the size of the gym to accommodate Parks and Rec. request or at least the idea of maybe hosting games there. And so that
Yeah, Lauren, so this number is generated, so in the ed spec, they provide what they call program area. Those are the specific assignable areas, your classrooms, your administration, nurses, gym, media center, all the assigned.
and it's not the gray area, right? Like the hallways and all of that. I do understand
That's
that.
your
I've heard this.
unassigned spaces, so we
Yes.
factor that up based upon our experience of prior elementary schools. We factor that up by 1.45 to
Okay.
get us the inside face of wall. And the reason we do the inside face of wall, that is the space standard calculation that the state's going to use to compare for space standard waivers. But when developing a budget, we don't use to the inside face of exterior wall. We use gross square foot, so that's why we add another 5%. Exterior walls typically are 4 to 6% of the building footprint, basically.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
That's our budget.
81,367 came from the ed spec.
No.
No, came from what?
Well, it came
In a
from the fact
roundabout
that
way,
we
yes.
our building program.
It's the program square footage times 4.45 to.
No, I just read off the 81,367.
Yes.
How did you get that number?
It is-
Before you added in the 5%. That's before
Correct.
the 5%. Where did the
Well,
81,367?
the 5% is for the exterior wall.
I get that part. Where did you guys pull the original number?
The original number was 56,000.
Yes.
The 0.45 is to the gray areas, the common areas, the non-program areas.
Always.
Always, yes.
And I am looking now, the last
That's yours.
page, just for reference, the last page of these Spiegel's Fairfield feasibility report, the one from September 9th, does list for concept 1F a total GSF of 80,900, so it's not that far off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it just makes it
Okay.
make sense to me to ask that.
All
As we,
How we're
as we
arriving at
refer to
these
them,
numbers.
common areas.
Common areas, right.
Gotcha.
But their cost per square foot, not that it should necessarily weigh in on this, but it was a little bit different. It's 944.
Well, that
And
is,
35 cents.
that's taken in the site as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because our total project unit cost is $894.
Believe me, I wish I didn't have to keep referring to it. I'm sorry, but it is part of
Yep.
our documents of backup, and it's, part of the town
Yep.
Just
commission.
so everyone's aware, what I'm trying to help Lauren especially with and take on is, I'm gonna ask a lot of clarifying, dumb it down for me, because the PTA and the school community is very much asking a lot of questions, and I'm going to try and go to more PTA meetings and update them. And some of these moms and dads read things the same way we do, and they are going to ask these questions. I
Because
just,
they have no construction or real estate
yeah, but
background,
then they
so-
want you to explain everything.
Yeah.
So, but then they don't want to be on the committee. It's fine. Okay,
Thanks
please
for-
continue, and my apologies for
Yep.
how ridiculous I am.
Okay, earthwork and site prep. Typically, we see between 20 and 25% of the building costs. We have, due to the site, we put this at 30% of the building costs. Playground equipment, this is an item that we need to talk about. Typically.
I definitely think it's gonna be more than $750. Are we?
Especially.
Are we dealing with
That's
thousands
three.
again? Thousands, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like Sal maybe could weigh in here. Do you know, I don't even know I guess Burr was the last from the ground up playground that was added to a site because Mill Hill was already existing, or did you add a playground to Mill Hill? I don't know what the going rate of a new playground is.
These are based on historic budgets that we've had in our past projects for similar.
From your past projects, I understand, but for Fairfield, just so for
The last,
us,
the last playground that we,
Holland Hill.
yeah, and I'd have to look up what that amount was. I don't recall it. right
Okay.
off the end.
Okay, I do know, because we're dealing with ECC, we need to have 2 playgrounds. We need to have one that's specific to those, that population.
Yep.
And then we would have a K through 5, which is separate. So we're really not talking
Two of
about
those.
one, we're talking about 2 playgrounds and 2 very different playgrounds.
You'll be
This is assuming
talking
3.
Because you have a two, you have the
There's,
addition.
there's a K to 2, and then there's a 3, 4, and 5.
See, ours is
So
just
the-
combined, so I don't
Yeah.
even know.
There's a-
And they ripped out the ECC one like a couple years
So
ago.
it's 3 playgrounds.
3 playgrounds.
Correct.
Was that
Yeah.
750,000 or 7? Is that what is that number? Is it 7.5 million or is it 750,000? That's
750,000.
750,000.
So is that 250 per playground or
250,000 per playground.
That's reasonable.
That's rubberized play surfacing.
Right.
equipment.
Playgrounds are expensive.
They are expensive.
This,
Okay.
and just to know, this typically we would
No more
put in the
metal slides.
SFP, but the state of Connecticut is making us bid out playgrounds now. They no longer allow us to use the state contracts. So this is a further discussion, but because we have to bid it out, we feel would be best put under the construction manager's scope of work to bid it out at the same time, since site contractor and the playground installer are all properly coordinated.
Okay, thanks Chuck for the clarification. I
That's good to know.
Yeah, typically, in the past, we've had it down here in the FF&E,
Yeah.
but
No, I like that. It makes sense that it goes to the GC. It's in that big.
in recent scar tissue, there was a lot of finger pointing when we had it down there.
Okay,
And
so it's part,
this is to eliminate that.
I appreciate it. Okay, so that brings us down to total site construction.
Everything above it.
Yeah. Well, this is just site itself. So this is
Okay.
New York's word.
the 30% of the building costs as the site. This is not only your parking lots, but also your utilities coming on, landscaping and all that, your playgrounds. and
Fields.
Fields,
You've got bollards, benches, pads, flagpoles,
Yeah.
all of that
all,
stuff.
all in, basically outside of the building footprint is $12 million.
Okay.
Building demo, we have at $50 a square foot, and this is based on
Spiegels.
this is based on our experience with demo and abatement for a 41,000 square foot building that's out there.
It's 2 million?
That includes abatement? At what level are we talking? Like, are we talking about having like hazardous materials across the entire building? Or?
Until we investigate that, we're not going to know, but based upon similar buildings of similar areas that have PCBs, maybe lead paint, asbestos. We just did a project this summer, very similar size, elementary school, similar areas. That bid, the GMB came in at 1.8 million on that. We're getting a bunch of allowances back. So, trying to compare apples to apples with the information we have. Again, this is just the budget. At this point, we think that budget allotment would be adequate for them.
Okay,
Okay.
appreciate it, and thank you, Dina, for the question. So 2 million and change is what we're looking at for the demo of the existing Dwight building and removal. Okay.
And legal disposal.
Good. Oh, moving on to sustainable elements. I see we have a member of the public from Sustainable Fairfield. I would love to hear more about this. So I see it's all TBD, but this is part of our building charge, is to consider green initiatives. So I guess that will have to come once we have an architect on board and they've drawn up a plan. But I like to see that it's in there and it is part of the budget itself. I'm just going to point out the top one, solar panels, because it came up in our very first meeting. We're required by the state to have an evaluation, I believe, is what Angeles or Sal referred to it as. And I think because we're almost to we almost fully own them, the town of Fairfield, like our payment I think is our final payments are coming up. At least I remember hearing that at some point. It's not something that I think we could necessarily apply for reimbursement because it's already been
But what we've
We-
seen,
counted towards.
We actually don't own the PV panels on any of our schools. They're part of power purchase agreements, so
Okay.
that there's somebody else that owns it, and we buy their electricity, and we give them a place to keep it, and they maintain it. So
Okay.
no maintenance costs on our part.
So it's just maintenance costs. I guess what I'm trying to say though, Sal, is that this is not something that we can submit to the state and say we're purchasing new solar panels, right? And an array, and that's gonna go towards some kind of reimbursement. It's that they're already existing. Well, we just have to see the condition that they're in and if they can be reinstalled back onto the new build, correct?
You mean the existing ones that are on the existing building?
Yes.
We're not on, we have no obligation to reinstall them. There's contractual provisions once if we're terminating that service or that building, but that's with a third party, not with the state. The state just wants us to evaluate for the new building whether we can or cannot put solar on it. And there's reasons why we might not be able to, depending on the equipment that's on the roof. It might not lend itself to putting up PV panels because of space restrictions, walkways, shadow lines, and things like that.
Yes, Dina.
Sal, do you know if there is a termination agreement or a penalty if we terminate the existing contract for the existing building?
Yeah. Yes, there's it's a 20-year power purchase agreement, and if there's early termination, there's an early termination clause in there, and it depends on how early it's terminated, and so on and so forth.
So is that termination fee something that we need to put into our budget?
I believe, and that's I wasn't part of that initial study, but I know that the information was asked for when they were doing the Figal study. So I'm assuming that termination cost would be part of this project.
We might want a line item for that. The other question that I have for you, Sal, is do we do generators or battery backup or battery storage for any of the buildings with the solar?
No, we do not. What happens is it's a net metering arrangement. So if we overproduce, which we do during the daytime, we overproduce electricity. It goes back onto the grid, and it might, those kilowatts that are going back up onto the pole out of the building might come to your house or your neighbor's house or what have you. In the evening, our meter spins back the other way. So we, at the end of the day, we use every bit of our PV power. If there is, in aggregate, over a 12-month period, more PV power than we used, we get, I forget, we're not, we don't become Rockefellers because of it. We get paid per kilowatt hour of excess production, and that comes back to the town. And that has
Not to FPS, because
that has not ever happened. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
So,
So if there's a termination agreement, sorry.
well,
On the
just
floor.
getting back to, so I know that there are several other municipalities that are going to a plan where they do not have generators anymore. They have lithium battery backup, and what they do is they will store that extra power for up to 3 days, and it reduces in peak hours and off hours the amount. So it will store it, and you can store up to 3 days, and the batteries basically pay for themselves. you have the ability to then sell back to the grid if you want to, which is a revenue generator for some of these municipalities.
I would,
attached to
if
schools
you're
or
aware of the
schools?
municipality, if you are aware of the municipality and or the company that's doing that, I'd be happy to have a discussion.
I know both.
Huh?
I know of both. So-
If you would like to email that to me, I can poke my nose into it.
Absolutely.
Typically, what happens is that we have proposals brought forward to us for various types of energy conservation or energy projects, green energy, what have you. We've had multiple proposals for fuel cells. Trying to think what other initiatives, and we have the discussion. And while it might be great for town A, it's not great for Fairfield. So it's not to poo-poo it or anything like that. I just don't know until it's evaluated for us.
What I can tell you is, for example, I know for a fact the town of Wilton is doing this, and they are actually getting funded, and it's pretty much a net neutral expense to them because they're getting funded through the Green Bank, and the Green Bank is essentially paying for the batteries, and they don't need to have generators for their schools. And the generators are generally running around $100,000 a year in terms of maintenance, upkeep, and power. And they are able to actually eliminate that expense.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
I have to say, I know it's early in the design. If you have a fire pump, you are going to need a generator.
If you have a fire pump, we're going to need a generator. Is that what you said, Peggy?
Yes, because it's a fire safety, it's a life safety.
The batteries have 3 days worth of backup, and they are within the state of Connecticut. They are being used in place of a generator.
So let's, Sal, if we could put you on that. Dina, if you want to connect.
Sal, you and I should have this conversation.
It might be. It's an interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can send me information.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to look into it. It's a little bit early. The point that Peggy brings up about the fire pump is correct. I do not know whether the fire code allows substitution of these batteries or the NEC. That would have to look into the code provisions, which is a question for the designer, not for me. And it's nice to know that you're interested, but it might be a little bit premature to do a full investigation without our designer on board.
The city of Bridgeport's fire department is using these batteries as well.
It's very cool. Okay, so just as this relates to the budget, under section E1, I think it's worthwhile to explore all these options. Just, Mark, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read through the rest here. Yep. I'm fascinated by all of it. I recognize one from a previous feasibility study, but the wind power generation, I'm assuming that means a giant windmill, right? Geothermal wells, again, I discussed this in hearing that was South Windsor, I believe. One of your references talked about the cost savings to the town by using that. The rain garden, I remember in Silver Petroselli's original feasibility conceptual design, they had a rain garden featured. I think that's great. It would actually be a really wonderful educational model for the kids
That's
too.
what they did at Sandy Hook though, where she was like, and this has never worked.
Potentially, I don't, but that was to fill a moat. I don't know that that's what this would do. Okay. Maybe it would, I don't know.
Help up for the designers to present and something.
Right. Cool. But I do like that it's in there. And then of course, wastewater treatment plants. That's also fascinating. I guess we're still in city water out there. So does that factor into the design on site?
We're in city water, but we have
septic.
Correct.
Septic.
Yeah, that's same at my house. I'm in Greenfield Hills too.
Yeah. The sewer line is a ways away from the school.
No worries.
But
I guess that makes sense, having a
Okay, so those are all in consideration. And
those-
I think
those
this is
costs
what
will
we,
also be part of this total $52 million as
yes,
well, so.
yeah. But that they have line items, I think is worthwhile, and thank you, Dina, for your information. I'm fascinated by all of this, so the more we can learn, the better. Exactly. Okay, sorry, I'll let you continue then, Mark.
Yep. So we have total related construction of 14.3, added to the 38 million for the footprint in the building itself is the total of 52 million, 52.6. We take escalation to the midpoint of construction is another 6.7 almost 0.8 million in escalation. As we go through the estimating exercises and all that, this money will start going up into this 52 million. Total
What's that 4.5, sorry, percent that you have?
is the
That's the rate of escalation?
rate of escalation,
Why
correct?
did I think it was 8?
What we're seeing is between 4 and 5%. 8%, I believe, is in the,
Is that the contingency?
it's, some carry, some on, some people carry 8%, but what we're seeing from the professional estimators is between 4 and 5%, so we split the difference.
And you
at
did 4 and a
4.5.
half.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where I just remember, and this predates the actual funding of this project. I remember hearing in some Board of Ed discussion about an 8% escalation rate, because that was, their concern was that if it went past a certain year, that it would cost even more, but I'm pleased to see a lower rate. I just hope that that's correct. But I guess we'll
This GMP?
You'll be pleased if it holds, you'll be pissed if it doesn't.
If it's in CM, yeah.
Yeah, just making sure.
Okay, so just, I want it on record now. I am pleased to see a 4.5% escalation. I hope that I don't have to come back and say, wait, you told me it was gonna be this, right? But, all right. So then that brings the total construction cost.
Total construction costs of 59.4 million. And this is big because we'll need this for the RFPs for the architects, because we will give this number to them, that this is the amount that they have to design to.
And that includes the demolition of the other building.
Demolition. That includes basically the construction, the GMP.
Yep.
And this is gross cost,
What's,
right? This is like everything, all in?
yes,
Okay.
well, this is your building design.
Yeah. Just the design.
And then what percentage do you, or is the architect typically?
We've budgeted 6.5%.
And that'll be based off of the 59.4.
Yes. Well, will be based on, I left off the FF&E.
Well, okay, that's what I'm wondering, is
Okay,
it
so is
based
it-
on the whole or on? Okay.
It's total construction plus the FF&E. If you,
Makes sense, because they're
Yep.
under all that, so.
D60 and D70 is. So we have the number of students at $3,000 per student for loose furnishings.
You do a base per student?
Yes.
Okay.
So, it's, when some will be, averages about $3,000 per student.
Yeah. Okay. I know that ed specs say differently, but here for the Spiegels, again, we have 392 as the max capacity. So you're basing it off of the 392 or what you had in the very beginning?
At the very beginning, which is the 392.
Yeah. Okay.
And then data and telecom, this is your,
Office equipment.
Boards
no, smart boards don't, basically your Wi-Fi, all your switches and all that, is this number at $3,000 per student as well.
1.1.
Yep.
Okay. What are the, and you moved the playground equipment up, but you left it here? Do we maybe just want to eliminate it from there or no?
There's a note here that it moved up top.
Okay,
This is a standard form that we have, so
that's fine.
that's why we noted it that it went up. We have a specialty signage at $50,000, so total FF&E is 2.4 million.
I'm sorry, specialty signage.
It can be monumental signs, digital signage, it can,
Something that says that this is Dwight School.
Dwight, yeah.
And then I'm assuming all the little signs inside.
Your wayfinding signs would be up in construction.
Okay.
But you're talking,
A big sign.
You're talking like the gymnasium scoreboard?
no, that would be up top. That would be in your GMP as well. Your signage on the side of the building at the roadway monument sign. High school, I'd throw your electronic signage in, but elementary schools don't typically get
You don't
electronic
have them
signage.
at the middle schools either, so, okay.
That
Exactly.
neighborhood wouldn't want it anyway.
No, they would not.
That is not a neighborhood that would want.
If anything, they were gonna fight tooth and nail to keep with all the old signs, just reapplied to the new building. And we do have certain things like, blue ribbon marker, and, Mimi actually brought up a lot of this at the last PTA meeting.
The rock.
The rock, no, but just in terms of the signs,
Well, that
there's
is-
plaques in the front of the building
Oh,
that
yeah.
she would like to see.
Yep,
Carried
and
on.
that is part of the design where we ask for memorial trees, memorial rocks, what needs to be brought forward into the.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
So that's all the hard costs up top.
Okay.
Then we get into, well, soft costs, yes, thank you. Architect's fees at 6.5 and that is the FF&E and the hard construction number up top. And this is a budgeted number. Hazmat consultant. This is what we typically see for a hazmat consultant. And yeah, these are your numbers that we
What's
see.
the ESA? I'm sorry.
Environmental
Site assessment.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know all
And
that.
this is for phase one only, which is basically a title search and in a preliminary study. If it needs to go to phase two, it'll be add service to
But it's $30,000.
$30,000.
Okay.
Correct.
And what's peer review?
Typically on a school building, the authorities having jurisdictions, building officials, fire marshals, even your, instead of they're overworked with the workload that they do have, we typically they want us to hire a outside independent consultant to do a code review, not for building and for fire. And this is.
The reason why I ask sort of some of these types of things the town is trying to absorb into their capital projects group. I'm not saying that they would do that for this because they seem to have kind of
This,
washed their hands of this is fully in our hands right now. But I don't know if this is the kind of thing that maybe the town would try to
this is,
fund themselves.
it's possible, but typically,
And it might be cost savings for us is all I'm saying.
typically the authorities having jurisdictions ask for the code review, and it's also up to their approval of who we hire.
Okay.
Would that have something to do with legal as well?
Probably.
Like, I'm just thinking if our town does it, then it's like, if something goes wrong,
Yes.
it's our town, but if they hire somebody else, then it's like, oh, like now it's your problem.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The building officials sign over the top.
At the end of the day, we have to comply with code, whether the plan review missed something by a town entity or a third party, we still would have to comply. So
It's still, okay.
it's not necessarily a liability thing. It's
Okay.
just there's literally thousands of pages worth of documents that will have to be reviewed for compliance to code. Our guys are hard pressed are hard pressed to do the day-to-day operations that they have normally, and
Got
an
it.
extreme large review like that would just shut down the office.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
For
I know
this.
that that would be.
Into the environmental.
Should it? But potentially, yeah. Stormwater monitor with all the sites greater than, 4 acres, require a outside consultant to do your stormwater monitoring to make sure that the erosion and sedimentation controls are in place. That's what the stormwater monitoring line item is.
Okay, so that's sort of also like a consultant?
Yes, it
Okay.
is a consultant. This is a RFP, the peer review is an RFP. Project management is Collier's. Commissioning is another RFP. This is basically a third party that makes sure that the the HVAC systems are
Yeah,
built
all systems are running.
per the intent of the drawings. The Fairfield's a little bit different. We include the tester and balancer with the building commissioning agent.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you,
Testing, as the system.
in layman's terms for me?
As this HVAC comes in, so you got the registers,
Yeah,
the design flow for the HVAC is, say, 50 cubic feet per minute. The tester and balancer comes in and certifies that what's coming out of the register is 50 cubic feet per minute.
Negative air.
you can see Jeff perking up over there. He's could probably share a lot about that. Okay, I just want to understand
Yep.
that's why there's a budget line item for it. Okay.
It's very important.
Yes, Al? Very important.
Very,
Yes.
very, very important.
I picture the movie Backdraft.
I know.
Well, and so I'll tell you, a lot of the complaints we are getting, that we do get on system startups, are from teachers saying room is too hot, room is too cold.
Uh-huh.
And this goes to, the tester and balancer and the commissioning goes to, you're getting the design airflow that you need to out of it. So you're getting the air exchanges and you're getting what you're supposed to be getting out of there. Or
Okay.
no, you're not getting it, so we need to do something different.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm just excited to have airflow. I'm be kind. All right.
CM
Yeah,
pre-construction.
but if you got your airflow and it caused more problems, you would be unhappy. That's
Agreed. But really, at this point, just fresh air. Okay. Sorry, CM pre-construction fee.
Yep.
Is that where we were?
Yep. This is what we see for a typical job from the CM, construction manager. Owner's legal fees is just a number we carry on all the Fairfield jobs.
Uh-huh.
Utility assessment, this is for typically, well, we did it for the HVAC projects. We had to get, Eversource has a fee to run the primaries from the street to our transformer. This is the unit cost to cover that.
Okay, thank you.
Owner's insurance. This is, in this one, and there's one below us that are highlighted. This needs to be verified by the town insurance carrier. We have thrown a number in here based on the HVAC project. We did get an insurance cost of $52,000 for the 11 million. That's what we carried here, but that does change per job and per insurance carrier. I believe the town has gone away from their insurance carrier that they had for the HVAC project, but this is a number that we've carried. So we have something.
And this is based off of your experience?
Yes.
Not necessarily Fairfield?
This is based on our Fairfield experience.
Oh, your Fairfield experience. Okay, I
Yes.
understand. Thank you. I'm sorry, could you, thank you.
Yeah.
I just can't see it all.
We have permits, and this is a little bit misleading. We are building permits from the town. Those fees are waived, except for the fact that there's a state education fee associated with any building permit that is pulled, and that cannot be waived. So that's what this $15,000 is for that.
Okay.
We're
Printing for plans?
yes.
Okay.
We are seeing less and less of this, but we still need to carry a number for that. It's not what it.
Who is that paid to? Just whatever company we use to draw up the plans?
To print the plans.
I'm sorry.
If we need to print plans for the third-party code review, we'd apply that. Sometimes building officials want a set of plans.
I mean, I would assume the architect would assume they're,
They will have plans
so this is
printed
just,
themselves,
this
yes.
is just for ours. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to understand where I,
Should we be asking the architects as part of the RFP to provide X number of copies as?
We'll have a printing number in there.
okay, so this is for anything outside of that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And they may exclude, they may exclude, or they'll include like 3 sets, but anything above 3.
It's extra
Yeah.
or something. Okay.
Materials testing, this will be another RFP. This gets combined with a special inspection, typically gets combined with a special inspection. This is when they pour concrete, they do materials tests on the concrete to make sure that it meets specification. And this is a typical number that we see for the materials testing on this site.
200,000
200,000, yes.
for material testing?
Yeah.
Okay.
They,
Anytime I see one of the big numbers, I'm just curious. Obviously, you want your cement to be strong enough.
correct.
Okay.
Well, it's not, it's your concrete, your soils. Anytime you do a lift on your structural fill, you've
Okay.
got the materials testing guy out there. You have them out there for steel, masonry.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just
We don't want,
concrete. Yeah,
we
of
don't want
course.
Chinese drywall.
They don't do the testing for that, but yes.
When I think about like the earthquake in Turkey, and I had a friend who was from there, and she told me about the building materials and some families. Breaks your heart. Okay, so yes, we want to make sure that they're done correctly.
Yep.
What's special?
Special inspections is a code requirement, basically a third party as well and typically we carry this, the material testing agency has an engineer that does the special inspections. That's another set of eyes, making sure that, the rebar is placed correctly. And he's going through some of the same inspections of making sure that what is on the plans is what is being built.
Okay.
Back up, got it.
Yep.
Cool.
Consultant
Can I back him up?
consultant reimbursables. This is travel time, my travel mileage,
You specifically,
and the architects
and the architects.
or the
Okay.
design team.
Okay.
Moving and relocation. This is
The company that we're going to hire to take the stuff from one building to the next.
exactly.
That's a good one, that's.
I know that one.
Temporary station operations, that's easy.
I can't believe it's going to cost that much to move at 100 yards, but okay, I believe
You
you.
call up the college kids?
I know. That's right. What is it? Hot guys chunk removal,
We-
something
we
like the college
typically-
chunks. Sorry, not hot guys. Strike that from the record. Yeah.
They're the Hooters of
We typically go off state contract for the
Yep.
moving company.
Okay,
All right, temporary space operations.
This is,
Like
this
trailers.
should be,
Job site trailers.
no.
yeah. No,
Website trailers will be up with the construction number. This is, we see mostly in phase construction, but if we have
Portables?
well, no, that's a bad word around here.
I know it is.
Materials come in ahead of time.
If you got to relocate the main office outside, in phase construction, a lot of times we'll see if you got to relocate a.
So this is a small number we may see coming back to us based upon this job, as we see the job today, but God forbid something
I'm
go
sorry.
wrong.
Can you just, you're trying to get there and I'm trying to understand.
Yep. Say, typically you see this in phase construction,
Yes.
where you're working your way around the building. But I could see this if we're tying it to the electrical room, or we're trying to tie the electrical service from the existing building into the construction site or to the new building. And the easiest route is through the custodian's office. To move the custodian office and set them up in a different location in the building, that any costs associated with that would go to the temporary
Okay. Thank you.
temporary space. Advertising is anytime we go out to put an advertisement in the paper for any of the RFPs that we do have. Typically, with the RFPs that we're going to see now, this is typically during bidding.
Like bonfire?
Subcontractor bidding.
Okay.
So the CM will put it out on the street, but also put invitation to bids in
McGraw.
Connecticut Post, the Hartford, in the Hartford. A lot of the state would.
Dina's got a question.
Yeah,
I've got lots of questions.
lots on that.
So here's my question on that. So we just had a vote in the town of Fairfield where we are no longer required to post public notice. It was part of the last election in newspapers.
Okay.
So
So that might come back to us.
That can be used elsewhere.
Well, it could be that they do ask for, there's a large chunk of money you have to put to join all of those bidding websites that are being used. It's not
Yeah.
cheap to have memberships on, I don't know what it's called now. It was McGraw-Hill, it was Dodge, it was everything else, but
Yeah.
it's getting just as expensive, if not more, to have the membership
Subscribe, yeah.
and to subscribe. Now, obviously, between each job, they break it down, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to welcome to the table Jeff Galdenzi.
Advertising could be also, you're presenting to the PTA, you're selling to other agencies and other stakeholders within the town. So you might want to present, build, I don't know, models, posters, material that would fall under advertising. So
Okay.
I don't,
Gotcha.
$20,000 on a
Sure,
56
let's
million.
hold the line item for now.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are saying it shouldn't be there, but we're questioning how it would be spent.
Yes.
Okay.
that makes sense, physical plant expenses.
Physical plant expenses and costs to the FPS essentially for any construction-related item. Miscellaneous expenses, anything that doesn't fall up above. Financing, bonding costs, this is the other one that we need confirmation from
The town.
as far as what they're gonna charge the project. We carried 500,000,
That's
but
a big one.
I don't know how that all works. I have asked in the past when I was just trying to get seed funding. Yeah. Okay.
It's based on the bonding rate when they issue the bonds and.
Right.
how they want to distribute it.
And I
It's
have,
fun stuff to work through.
My husband works in this.
I have a
A
question.
little
Yes.
bit about it.
So with all of these ones where it got to be like, wait, what? Like, really? You need that much? Or we have that? As you guys use those numbers, you will tell us and present us with what was spent out of each category. Because I'm somebody who, like, you mind the pennies, the dollars fix themselves.
As the
These are the
invoice,
pennies.
as the invoices come in, we'll be, if it's a physical plant expense, I'll be coding it to that physical plant expense.
I'm assuming that we're going to get like regular reports that'll show,
Cost-
you know,
cost
it's gonna be budget, month to date, year to date.
And
I just don't want all of a sudden at the end of it's like, yeah, we use that. And it's like, where? Because that's all money that can go back to the kids.
And
Or,
just-
you know.
Just to let you know that
So,
Craig Curley, the chair of the Board of Finance, has asked for quarterly updates from me. I may ask you to come along on some of those. I don't know, but
Craig's very familiar with our
I know, but
worksheets.
and I'm glad he's taking vested interest in this. But I think a lot of people are going to be
Yep.
curious.
Right.
Okay,
I mean, these are your books, so.
Just to warn you.
thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome. I'm going to be giving off little warnings too,
Okay.
Then,
just to try and.
Well, I think we're
Then,
coming
yep,
to a close,
we're-
but I would like to just make sure that we get through it
Yep.
because I
We're
think
right
it's
there.
important for the public to understand and for us.
we have a construction contingency,
Yep.
carry 5%.
Okay.
And then this owner projects, we typically don't see less than 5%, but this number is a little bit inflated. This is on the whole project itself. This is the catch-all, so anything that we do the simple, whatever's left over from up there,
What does that line, owner's project mean again?
contingency.
Yeah, owners can, but what does that mean? Why is there, like, what, like, your construction contingency, that makes complete sense in my brain. What's owner's project contingency mean? What's the difference? Anybody?
Never asked that question.
Like, there is no owner, you know, like the town owns it.
The town,
So that would cover.
request from the owners.
Yeah, that would be like, if we decided to change the project in the middle of the project.
Gotcha.
Or if our bonding cost went up, or,
Okay.
you know,
Okay, so just a little extra padding to everything but the construction.
Correct.
yes.
And just so Jan knows, that was a question by Nicole. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
sorry about
Jan,
that.
For answering. It's okay. I just want her
Oh,
to
sorry,
follow
yeah.
along. Okay.
Can I ask a question about the 5% contingency? So is that, I'm assuming that's on average what you are seeing in what you're
What
doing?
we carry, correct.
Have you gone over that before?
That's a good question, Dina.
We have,
Because I just know like,
on the 5%, no. I think on the project that we're at budget right now, essentially, we had less than that because
Okay.
the budget was
yeah.
tighter.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at what building costs are doing right now, actual materials costs, and, you know, concrete goes up, or,
Copper goes up,
and all of a sudden, you know, 5% seems really small.
correct. And then we have the construction cost to the total project cost is 78%. Soft cost to total project is 22. So we're
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 80-20, 75-25 is right where, on a project this size, that's,
Pretty standard, yeah.
Okay. What's this down below? Project schedule and program schedule and budget?
This is just basically,
Oh, this is just backup.
this is our notes saying,
Your notes,
you know,
okay.
the funding is in place.
But here we go. This brings us to the grand total.
Yep, grand total.
Lots of notes on anything that we ask questions
Thank
on.
you so much.
That can help us with public questions down the road.
So, this is how we arrive at 76,398,000 and is that 20 cents? Is that what? Is
No.
that point two?
That's
200.
200.
Okay.
Yeah, you-
Thousands.
Yeah, you're.
I appreciated you asking that question in the beginning because I was like,
You're-
we're dealing with thousands or
Yeah.
millions or yeah.
Your-
Okay.
Your funding is the 76,398, 168.
Yes.
If-
And I just want to reiterate that is.
There, I like that.
Thank you. That is what the town has approved. That is the goal. That should be in everybody's mind what we would like to try to stick to. I know that we're gonna come back to this time and time again. But if we can just go forward with this plan from the start, that we're really gonna do our best to try to keep to that budget. Our absolute best. I think the town would certainly appreciate it. And if we're like Jeff Galdenzi and we can come in under budget, yes, they would be even more thrilled. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I've been so warned by a first select person, don't try to overpromise.
Never overpromise.
But I do think that it's worth noting that this is a very generous budget, that it was deeply debated, and we are very appreciative that the town moved forward with the project, so let's try to do our best to honor that budget. Okay, Mark, thank you for walking us through it. I have a better understanding now of how it all works, and also just as we start getting, bills, as the bills come in, where they're going to be assigned.
Yep.
And
That's a subject for another day.
a subject for another day. I'm just-
We'll talk about invoice packets and how we
Okay,
will.
but this is just a good high-level overview of how it's
This is
constructed.
the first step on the budget.
Yeah. Okay,
Well done, by the way.
very well done. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
again, if we could just make sure that it is somehow posted to the town, if you need, I'm sure you have the town clerk's email address, but I think, or we can send it to Jen Carpenter, who's not here today, but she's supposed to be showing Nicole and I how to post things to our website ourselves, which we do not know how to do yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But I think this is important for everyone to see, and also for future building committees. We know that Jennings is behind us and hopefully not too far away. And I'm sure that future building committee would appreciate having this on record. Okay, I'm going to move to number 8 on our agenda. Unless anybody has any questions, John or Peggy, about the budget process. I think Mark did a great job. I think we've had a lot of questions answered.
We're a line item for both.
Agree.
Great, okay. Thank you, John. Peggy, you agree? We can move to item number 8?
Yes, we can move on.
Okay, so open board discussion. I have one or actually a couple of items here I wrote down. I'm going to ask Jeff Galdenzi to come to the podium if you wouldn't mind, or you're free to come to the table. We had an inquiry by a member of Fairfield, right, a town resident who is in construction. Is actually an architect, I believe. But there is a process called ICF, and we have the opportunity, if we would like, to tour a building that was constructed using this process. Jeff, I'm going to let you expand a little bit more on this.
Yeah, so Lee Overland is a principal architect of Overland Design Group, and he built his home in Fairfield using that construction methodology. So what he's offering is to have us, you all, come and see that construction and talk through with him to understand it better. There are some municipalities that are mandating all new construction be of this nature. So it's something to think about and see what the cost, the changes to cost would be, and to learn how that would be integrated in with things like thermal and whatnot. So that's the the offer that's out there.
Just for the record, can you tell the public what ICF is?
Yeah, so integrated concrete forms. I'm not an
That sounds
expert,
right.
so I'm
Go with
not
that.
going to.
Delete
I
sentences otherwise.
yeah,
It's late.
I'm the conduit. In essence, in short, it is using foam framing and then injecting cement into it, so that you have barriers. So it has a lot of accelerated characteristics from a construction perspective. So it's faster. It has a lot of water barrier issues. So I know that was sort of PTSD around the existing Dwight. So it has a lot of those abatement issues around that. So it's not like cutting edge necessarily, but it is newer. So it's something to.
I did just a general, Google search into what ICF is, and then obviously went to Lee Overland's website just to try to get a better understanding. The claim is that it is fireproof and waterproof, and sort of like natural disaster resistant. Also, I think up to. There was something about windproof too. So, I think the idea is that it would help guard against some of these
future-proofing the school in some ways as well as,
And I mean, just to
I think
give a
the word
little,
fast helps too, considering that we're trying to cut back on our timeline.
yeah, so fast does help. I am curious about it, and again, I'll go back to that one of our charges is green initiatives. This could very well be one of those green initiatives that we might consider, or that an architect might bring to us and say, here's this new way of doing things, and have you ever heard of it? And it would maybe be nice for us to say as a group, yes, we have heard of it. We've actually went and toured a building. So I appreciate you reaching out, or Lee reaching out to us. And I think really what it would come down to is where we can put this in our schedule, a date and a time that it would work for a majority of us. And of course, as we all know, if 4 or more of us are gathered in any one place and time, that's considered a meeting. So then it would have to be on record. But I do appreciate you bringing it out to us. I'm trying to think of like the next few weeks. I think we're going to be focused on the RFQ for now, but there's still going to be some lag time in some of those future meeting dates that we might well consider this. Yes, Nicole.
I was gonna say, can we put forward because obviously it has to fit this person's schedule too, would maybe the weeks between the short list and the presentations of the architects be a good time frame, and you can then call on them and say, can you perhaps give us 3 separate dates that work for you, and then we can
And during that time frame. Mark, could you just remind us again when that window is, so we can go back to Lee?
Between the 10th.
February 10th and March 3rd.
February 10th and March 3rd.
looking at the last 3 weeks of February.
The last 3 weeks of February. And ideally, if we're going to do this, let's try to line it up with a Tuesday around 2 p.m. so that we could consider it. I mean, there's going to be 4 more of us as a meeting. And it would be offsite. I don't know how we record it, but we figure it out. Maybe somebody would walk around with Zoom on their phone. Okay, but I do thank you for bringing this to our attention. I think it's
Thank you for your
worthwhile. Okay. Okay, Sal, I'm going to throw this out there. I did try to call Angelus, and he was walking into a meeting, so I didn't get a chance to connect with him. But I was reviewing some of our past conversations in meetings back in October. He mentioned inviting Jen Leeper, one of our state reps. She's the chair of the education committee for the state. And
Yes.
There was something about special legislation for this construction project being considered. And I know that we have to submit to the state, right, the approved project. And I think we, at that time, back in October, I had lots of scribbled notes that said something about Sal to be sending us a timeline. Now I think we have a more firm timeline since we brought Colliers on board, and they've outlined it for us. Does that mean that we could maybe welcome Jen to a future meeting as well and kind of review this with her? Because if we are looking to do special legislation for the state approval for the project, I want her to be well informed.
Yes, well, she's, it's my, okay, my mic is on. Yes, Jen Leeper is working on special legislation for this project. It's not absent of where this building committee is in your process.
Okay.
They're looking for a few different items, such as extension of the early childhood center bonuses. They're looking for modification of bonuses is basically what it is, and I think that she has all the data that she needs to do what she needs to do. Not. Let's put it this way: it's not usually a building committee thing for the reimbursement part.
I hear you. I
Facilitate
specifically
the
have.
reimbursement.
I just specifically have here that Angelus talked about inviting her. We even had a date circled for November 18th at the time. Obviously, it didn't happen, but I don't want to drop things that we thought were important.
Yeah, I know that there's
Months ago, I know
communication with Jen
With the
Leeper
mom, but-
about special
Maybe-
legislation, and
Maybe
we're
we
even
could touch
talking
base
about
with Angelus about this and just kind of get a better idea, because the fact that he wanted to bring her to a meeting to kind of bring her up to date, the timeline, and now that we have a firm timeline, I think it might be worth updating her, whether that's simply an email or a phone call between one of you with her, that's fine. I know her as a local mom. I've worked with her on digital wellness for PTAC, and cell phone free initiative for our schools, which was passed this year. I wouldn't have a problem reaching out myself, but there was something as I was reviewing these notes that said November 18th, invite Jen Leeper to our next meeting. So I'm trying to figure out what that was about. That's really it for my open comment. Does anybody else have an item that they would like to discuss, something that maybe we haven't thought of yet, but I just leave it out to the whole board if you have anything you want to add at this time. Yeah, we've covered a lot. I know we're all tired. We're ready. Public comment, yes. I'm going to move to number 9, public comment. We don't have any members of the public right now.
Well, I don't know if Mary Hope's been on here the whole time waiting to speak.
She has. Mary, you're the only member of public that we see online. I know we've just discussed a couple of sustainable items, ICF being one of them. Is there anything else that you would like to share? And again, if you could just state your name, your address, and if we could just try to limit it to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Mary Hogue, 165 Stonewall Lane in Fairfield, up by the Greenfield Hill. My kids actually did go to Dwight until Burr was built. When we used to have the kids in the closets doing specials and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh my gosh, I've heard of those days, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I really appreciate all your work, and I especially appreciate the sustainability items, and it's in the charge. So I am going to try and attend the meetings just to, have Sustainable Fairfield be part of the process.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Well, that was easy.
That was easy.
You never know. You never know.
Okay, unless anybody else has something they'd like to add, I'd like to motion to adjourn the meeting. The time is 3:48.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Much appreciated. We'll see you next week this time.